Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back after the long weekend. What's going on, Luke?
Not much, man. I'm cold, but not cold.
Very cold.
We very cold. We got hit with that cold snap, that snow snap. But I played in the snow like all day yesterday when I wasn't watching basketball, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it is very snowy here in Memphis, in my house as well. More snow than I care for. Every time it snows here, I am reminded. I'm like, I would not do well.
Chuck, I'm
in a
good.
state that snows all the time. I just wouldn't. Like, our family is not a cold family. We're often not like we spend our winters like we'll be going like to the Caribbean for my wife and I's anniversary. Like we don't go. One time we tried to ski and we were like, nah,
we're good.
We don't like this. I would prefer to have my clothes off, on a shirt off, beside a beach with a drink instead of lots of clothes on. I don't know, man. I just, yeah, we were every year we were reminded that we are like our kids is they don't. I mean, they'll play, but like every other kid, but it's not.
Your kids
long.
are even out.
We're not a snow family. I mean,
fair.
it's just
that's fair.
Like, we love the mountains.
Yeah.
But during the summer, like, I don't know, man. It's just there's so much snow here. It's so cold. I can't go outside.
Can't go anywhere.
I can't go anywhere. I mean, I can. I have a truck. I don't really care. But like,
oh, there you go.
I can't go anywhere. Nothing's open. I don't know, man.
That's the thing. Nothing's open. Like
the cold sucks. It's never bothered me, but it does suck.
You're getting to the point where it might bother you.
It just
sucks.
Not fun. It just sucks. I guess maybe like if I was like Nate, where I lived in Utah, right?
Yeah, Utah,
and I was fully prepared for the cold in terms of like the clothing and had the hats and the glasses or whatever. I don't know what you have. I don't know what the fuck you have for cold.
The hoods. They got hoods.
Whatever is it you have, right? If I was prepared for all those things, and maybe it would be better. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just unprepared. I was outside yesterday in the snow in my tennis shoes, so like,
oh yeah, you weren't ready.
I don't know. Like my feet are freezing. I'm not prepared for 18-degree weather. That's not who I am. That's this time of the year. Every time it happens, we were reminded, my wife and I, that we're beach people, or we're warm weather people.
Beaches are awesome. Like
we're LA people. We're like 68 degrees constantly all year round. That's who the people we are.
Hell yeah. Hey,
oh well.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, big show for you guys today. We're back over the long weekend. We'll talk about the weekend in the first segment. Obviously, the rundown we got Desmond Bain, more injury news while we were gone. And then, of course, G.D. Jackson, huge couple games for the guy. So,
yeah,
lots to talk about on the show today. Let's start over the weekend. Your thoughts on the weekend? I mean, I love MLK weekend. I think it's so awesome that the NBA does it here in Memphis, where I feel like it's very fitting and very apropos that they do it every year. And I do feel like, it is. I would say I don't think Memphis deserves it, but I do think that, it is important for a lot of people to, visit the Rice Museum and understand, kind of why we have the holidays that we have, So, but anyway, your thoughts on the weekend?
Yeah. I'm just going to pretend the Clipper game didn't happen. I was not happy about it. Then Dez got hurt. I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was so despondent at that point. I was just kind of like, I'm out. I'm just going to wipe this one off. Now, the Knicks game, I was a little bit more down, but I was okay with. I thought the guys played well, considering that the 8 dudes, the 8 healthy guys we had in that game, 6 of them are under 25, and I think the average age of those 6 is like 22 and a half. Considering that, and then considering how they went and played yesterday, man, it was a wild weekend, going from like super despondent to hope, to genuine hope, to being like, man, we're giving these youths a run for their money. Like, we're giving them a test drive, but they may have it. Like, Vince continues to prove us right, prove everyone right. I don't know if anybody was doubting him, but he's earning his money. What little money we gave him, like the dude is a revelation. He's and I just me and my lady were talking. Like, I don't see Gigi Jackson is 19 years old, dude. The shit that I could not do when I was 19, and the shit that he is doing when his like. When his attitude, I guess, was in question out of the draft, like when people were like when it was his off-field stuff that people were concerned about, and just to see this humble, both of them just humble, just grateful dudes who can also fucking hoop, and who seem to inspire the dudes around them in a weird way. Like, the bench was getting just as excited for these young guys going out there and hooping as they were if it was jaw dunking. It was just it was a 1 and 2 weekend. I'm feeling a little bit happier than I would expect.
I mean, 1 and 2 weekend, I think is about as good as you're gonna get. Especially after Jaren didn't play, Santi didn't play, Dez getting hurt. I mean, like, that's as good as it, because I think we always knew deep down inside we were not winning that Clippers game, right? We all knew that. And then once you go out there and you roll out the Knicks, the starting 5 that you're rolling out, and then you basically have 9 players available to you. I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's you chalked up. You knew that's going to be a loss too. Like,
yeah.
It's just not much you can do. I mean,
on a second night of a back-to-back, like
second night of a back-to-back, 9 players available, a lot of which are either question marks of like who, if they're good, and or they're just 2-way players or hustle guys, or were
until recently hustle guys,
or until recently hustle guys like Vince Williams. So I think, given the circumstances, a 1 and 2 weekend is about as good as you're getting. I was expecting an 0 and 3 weekend. So when it came to Monday, after everything that happened, I think that that's what I was expecting. So,
and honestly, if I had to pick one win, I would have picked the win yesterday. If I had to pick one of those games to win, you bet your ass I'm picking the one against the Warriors.
Yeah, I think that's a fitting win, especially over the first Draymond Green game back. He sucks.
He sucks.
I dislike Draymond Green a lot. Just his antics around the game and his just, I don't know. I can just be totally remiss to never to have to see him play basketball again. I just do not care for him. So,
nope.
But the Clippers, there's I don't know what else, there's much else to say about that game. There wasn't a whole lot of bright spots. I mean, David Roddy was good, 17 points.
David Roddy keeps doing what it's the same. I don't know what more we can ask of the guy coming out, like, for what he didn't progress, but he didn't necessarily regress. So I'll take it.
I think Luke Kennard is still a giant question mark.
Yeah, man. Like,
and here's the thing is that here's what I'll say about Luke Kennard is that I saw someone say this, and I think it was Keith Parrish, our friend at Fast Breakfast on Twitter the night that and shout out Keith. Like, Luke Kennard cannot create his own shot for himself or anybody else. And to that, I agree 1,000%. Of course he can't. But Luke Kennard, and I think a lot of people get frustrated with Luke Kennard and even us about how much he shoots, but was never supposed to be this guy. He's not supposed to be this guy. What Luke Kennard you want from him is to be open and ready to shoot when John Morant passes you the ball. Yeah. Like, that is what you ideally want from Luke Kennard. So, like, right now we see Luke Kennard and we're all mad at Luke Kennard because he's not shooting that well, or he can't create his own shot or whatever. And those things are all true, to be honest with you. So, like, the version of Luke Kennard you're seeing right now, like, he cannot, like, he's got to play with players around him that create space, right? Like, he's there to create more space. He's there so that people can't help off of him getting like going, doubling down to Jaren or helping off of him on a John Morant drive. That's what he's there for. And when they do, that's when he hits open shots. Like that is what he's here for. And so while
We
I
started
do
him
agree,
at the 1 last night, right? Didn't we start him at the 1?
the 2, no, Zaire Williams started at the point guard spot last night, technically. But that is what Luke Kennard is supposed to be, like in the ideal sense. So like it's a little like, judging a lot of the guys without the guys around him. So you're like Marcus Smart, you gotta really want to see what he's like with the lineups around him, because quite frankly, we haven't seen a lot of lineups with Luke Kennard in it besides last year, and John Morant wasn't there a lot for those either. So
yeah,
I would be hesitant to really put any kind of stamp on Luke Kennard right now with the people he's playing right now, because just because it's not what he's supposed, it's not who he's supposed to be playing with. And so that's just me. I mean, I think I'm hesitant to kind of slap any kind of a final whatever on Luke Kennard. If they trade him, whatever. But like that's just kind of how I feel. Because everybody always wants someone that can shoot really well until they get someone that can shoot really well. Then they want to trade him. I just don't understand that people being upset with Luke Kennard. Do we want him to shoot more? Absolutely.
100%.
Right? Yes. Take more shots because he's one of the best shooters. He is the best shooter out there now. But he's also a career 40% three-point shooter. So like if you trade him or you want a better shooter, you're not going to get one. Right? If you trade him, you're going to be trading him for a shooter that's not as good, but may be good at some of the other things you want to be good at, of the defense and all the other things. So keep that in mind. Like if you want a better shooter than Luke Kennard and you want to trade him for like someone who is, I want someone who can shoot better and defense. Well, you're not going to find that person, because that person
doesn't exist.
Jason Tatum. I don't even know if Jason shoots as well as Luke Kennard, but that person doesn't exist. So you got to pick what you want out of the player. Either you want him to be a lights out shooter, or you want him to be a Marcus Smart who is a decent shooter but good at all the other stuff. So and anybody in between that who is very good at shooting and very good at all the other things, you won't get, because that's a superstar. Is what that is.
It's either a superstar or there's one guy that's like that, and everybody and your mother is going to be going after him. It's like It's like Alex Caruso this season. There's always one different guy every season that every contender is going for. And we're not going to go after that guy because we don't stand a chance. It's like this year. And I agree with you. Like I don't know these people hollering for Luke's, I don't want to say job, but to trade him. It's like Luke in his optimal position on this team, he's sixth man of the year. I was on that all offseason. Like if he is doing his correct, like if he is open, catching threes and only shooting threes, not having to do all this other shit, he's a sixth man of the year candidate, like no doubt. But when he's doing he's so out of sorts right now, and you can tell that he's out of sorts. And what sucks for him and what's a little murky is just his contract. That's for me what it's just like, well, damn, it's just easy. That salary is easy to trade. I don't want to trade him at all. If it were me, I would keep him. I would just keep him, because when everybody's back, he's exactly what we need on this team, on this bench. But that trade and that player option is tough.
Yeah, I mean the $50 million was a lot. I won't be okay. That's just a lot for a player who is one dimensional, right? But you think hope at a position like 3-point shooting, or that is a dimension that is hard to have, and he's such an elite skill set at that you make it makes sense. And they might find a trade that makes sense, and I don't know if they will. I think that they will probably end up picking up the team option going into next year and trying to figure out what they have with these players. Like, I think that's still what they will probably end up doing, is trying to figure out what they have a lot of these players, because they just haven't seen them together. I think the trades, if you see some trades, I think the trades you'll see more will be kind of back end roster trades, cutting up some roster. I know, the
two for ones
and the John Conchas of the world. I think that's what they'll probably be trading if they trade people. So at least that would be the hope. I'm of the mind that I don't think you trade any of a lot of the real quote unquote core pieces, because I think that you still want to see what you get with those guys. And so that's my thought on the weekend. Let's take
I
a
want
quick
to see
break. We'll
X rebound more as an aside.
Yes. Yes. X rebound more, please. You are the only guy that's rebound right now.
Please, bro.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we will talk about the Desmond Bain injury coming up next.
I am highly upset, man.
Oh, man.
ESPN, you dastardly dogs you. Last week had us feeling good. They picked the Grizzlies to be first in the West with about 48.5 wins. And what a difference a few days makes.
What a difference.
You put out your list of the top 100 players in the NBA. Desmond Bain jumps in at 61. Jaren Jackson Jr. comes in at number 31. Jaren's top 25 to me, but if you all right, whatever. I think that's a little slight to Jaren. Desmond Bain is disgusting, in my opinion. Then we get Ja Morant, All-NBA player, two-time All-Star, one of the most dynamic offensively players in the NBA, Ja Morant. That guy was number 35 on their list, Kenny Stubblefield. The same people that said the Grizzlies will be the first team in the West, they're going to get that done with just some regular dudes.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Just curious, you kind of talked about the transfers and things like that. How has that changed your mindset from a roster management standpoint? Like, incredible recruiter. All the classes, I think we had 2 back-to-back and 21 and 22 top classes. How does that change with the transfer portal? Do you start focusing more on upperclassmen? Do you kind of get away from the younger freshmen? How does that work?
Yeah, so I still believe in our coaching staff and the way we do things and developing guys. And that I will never get away from that philosophy. We're still going to recruit a high school class. Now, there's a lot of colleges out there that say, screw this. We're pushing all the chips in on this roster, win right now, and we'll figure it out. Sure. And if it doesn't, right, it implodes and bad things happen. But I think you still have to bring in true freshmen and develop them and see what they can become. And that I'll never waver from that. But the portal certainly changed things.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind, the Daily Memphis Grizzlies show right here on Bluff City Media. Make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go and do that. We just launched a new show over the weekend. If you did not see it, you missed out. I unfortunately was on it. I know that's not what people want to see, is more of me. But it was a live post-game show for all the Memphis Tigers games, just a la Grizz 901 right here on Bluff City Media with Daniel and Nate. It's with our big good friend Francis Carlota. He is awesome. He's been around. He's actually, fun fact, he is the longest tenured Bluff City Media employee. Technically, he was the first. He was the first person we hired to write back when we were just doing Tiger stuff when we started out a year and a half ago. So we launched Tigers Live with Francis over the weekend. So that'll be after every single Tigers game. He'll be talking Tigers and the games, and he'll have Roman Cleary on, who's our beat writer as well. So go check that out when you have a chance. It's on the YouTube channel. Just subscribe and you won't miss anything. I promise you, if you're there is a show for everybody. Yeah. If there, like whatever you like in sports and Memphis sports, there's a show for something. Whatever personality you like. It's not two really bland white dudes like us. There's more personality than just us on other shows. I promise you. Sane's way more personality than we will ever be. And he's very more entertaining than we'll ever be as well. So promise you. Go check out the YouTube channel and subscribe. So the Grizzlies over the weekend, I think when we all saw it, we all knew, right? Yeah. We saw the Desmond Bain stepping on whoever's foot. I don't remember. We all knew. We were like, man, that's
bad.
That's not good. That is not good. And for a moment, I got excited when they didn't release a medical update right away. Typically, they would do that pretty quickly. But they released no medical update on Saturday afternoon. So I was like, well, if they don't release a medical update, they usually consider that day to day. They don't have any, But I was like, but it's Desmond Bain. Even if they were day to day, I think they would release one. And they hit us with a medical update. Was that Sunday? Was it Sunday or yesterday? Sunday. Desmond Bain, grade 3 left ankle sprain. He will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. So our graphic says Desmond Bain out 6 weeks. He will be out at least 6 weeks. It's not like the Marcus Smart situation. He'll be out 6 weeks, come back, maybe you play him for the last few weeks of the season. I don't know if that's even something you want to do. But it will be likelihood of us seeing Desmond Bain back this year will be very, very small. Very small.
Slim to none.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, by the way, also Jake Larrabee also had a grade 2 high ankle left leg sprain. He will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. I mean, look, I hate it for Larabia. This would have been the prime opportunity for him to actually probably get some run with the team.
Yeah.
This was probably his last opportunity to show the front office that he is not a complete waste of a draft pick.
Yeah.
Because right now that's what everybody thinks, including me. Including the front office probably. That is a complete waste of a draft pick.
The good news of him being out is I think we get another hardship exception.
So yeah, so let's talk about that. I tweeted that over at Grizzly Bear Blues, the Twitter over the weekend. The Grizzlies will probably have 3 hardship exceptions, and so this is why this is the same exceptions we had over the fall that we signed Jalen Noel and
Shaquille Harrison.
So the way it works is the way you get them is you have to have a certain amount of players, above 4 players, that are hurt for a significant amount of time. That significant amount of time is at least 3 weeks.
And 3 consecutive games, too. They have to miss games in a row.
Right. They have to miss three consecutive games, but these guys being out for more than 4 weeks will miss those games. So that's how you get one hardship exception. And all the hardship exception does is allow you to sign players to 10-day contracts. It doesn't allow you to sign an extra player to any sort of long-term contract or season contract. And we have enough players hurt that we'll get 3 of them. Yep. When they get them, I'm not sure exactly when they will open up, but they will get them. And they will be able to sign people to 10-day contracts, and there is no limit on the contracts. That's the important part to understand. There's no limit on the 10-day contracts. They can sign as many as they want. They can sign 5 10-day contracts they want to. With those spots. The only time the spots end is when those players start to come back from injury. But with the Grizzlies having these guys out, having Adams out for the season, Clark out not coming back in, it seems like Ja for the season. A lot of these guys out for the season, they're not coming back anytime soon. So if you want silver linings, the Grizzlies will have those roster spots to do with them as they choose.
And tomorrow, I got a feature coming out in the morning. I figured tomorrow we can talk more about possible dudes they can sign with those hardship exceptions. It's a little tougher because you're looking at really below the line dudes. But
you're right. You're writing about who they might sign.
Yeah.
Give us a preview. Give us one.
So, I mean, one obvious guy I could see us bringing Jalen back. I think Elfrid Payton is a guy that I would keep an eye on.
Is he not in the league?
He's not playing right now. He last played for the Suns in not last season, but the season before.
Interesting.
That's the one. I mean, that's a point guard with a little bit of playoff experience. I mean, that's kind of a veteran dude who was good for 10 and 6, like 10 points and 6 assists when he was playing. I'm looking at the point guard spot more than anything else, and the bigs. For the first time in a long time, we got a lot of wings.
Yeah, not a lot of them can play, but we do got a lot of them. So, fun facts.
Fun facts.
Yeah, I haven't heard that name in a long time, to be honest with you. Elfrid Payton.
Yeah.
So, that's interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We can talk about it tomorrow. Look forward to that article by yourself coming out. Everybody should definitely take a read over it at bluffcitymedia.co. Their little shameless plug. Yeah, I mean, I don't know your thoughts on the Desmond Bain.
I mean, I don't understand how you can. I mean, I'd have to do some looking, but we lost Marcus Smart, we lost John Moran, and we lost Desmond Bain all in the span of 5 days. I don't remember that happening to a team. Like losing 5 starters in the span of 5 days for the season is unheard of. I don't know if that's ever happened. That's crazy to me. I mean, there's bad luck, and then there's whatever the fuck this is. Like, good God, it's a bad beat, man. I just when it happened, and it's like you said, when we saw that ankle, it's like, well, shit, that's. Of course, that looked awful.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what we did. I don't know who we pissed off, and I don't know if you can blame the training staff. Like, that's nobody's fault. I don't know. Especially the Baines was that's a freak thing. He stepped on somebody's foot. Like, I don't. And Marcus Smarts feels like a freak thing too. It's just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, it's another tally on the season from hell, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no there's no blame here, right?
No.
I mean, Marcus Smart getting swiped down from Luka.
Yep.
Desmond Bain stepping up his foot. I mean, you take all those out, individually, and they're just kind of freak things like, oh, that sucks, that's weird, or whatever.
Sucks.
You put them all together, and you're like, what is happening? They just kind of have already feels is that you just don't know. You at this point you expect it. You're like, I expect Jaren to go out and step on someone's foot too. I don't know. Like, poor Jaren's got to play with all these other bums. Like, it is what it is. It's a weird, it's sucky thing. Like, I don't know how there's no else to feel other than be angry about it, and that's all you can do, really. And so, the Desmond Bain thing, it's losing him and John Marcus Smart in the span of a week. This time last week, a little bit over a week ago, we were excited about seeing all those people together.
Yeah.
And now look where we are at. Last week, every time we asked about something, we figured out what we're going to talk about the next day. They gave us an injury. So, we stopped asking, but they still gave us an
we
injury.
did.
We were like, nah, never mind.
We're good.
Yeah, we can talk about. We don't even have to do shows. We're sorry.
Yeah, nobody can get hurt. We're good.
But yeah, Desmond Bain being out really sucks. So, let's take another quick break. We'll talk about the positive news over the weekend. GG Jackson.
Seth Hennigan just still. He
doesn't look himself.
He just doesn't. In the big moments, he's not making the plays that have to be made. If you look at the raw stats, they're not terrible. But the 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And he fumbled twice. They didn't lose those fumbles, but 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions, one of them coming at a terrible time on a 4th down late in the game when Memphis really needed to put points on the board. But I just don't think Seth is playing well enough to elevate this team.
Right.
I think he's playing well enough for Memphis to be fine. But as far as for them to do something special and to elevate this team, he's just not playing like that.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Kenny, there are certain guys in the NBA that are enigmatic players. They're going to be appealing to a large fan base. But when you have guys like that, who like Ja Morant, who have off-court issues he's had, Kyrie Irving has had the things he's had, the NBA doesn't particularly like the fact that those guys are larger than life. If I'm the NBA, if I'm ESPN, who of course are working together on all this stuff, I'm going to start telling you who you need to like. And it's going to be a different type of guy to kind of play off of the guys that are going to be there anyway. Let me put these squeaky clean image guys that we want to put in front of you up there as well to kind of counteract some of the stuff we get with the guys that we don't have any control out of. So let me put the Tyrese Halliburtons in front of you. Let me put the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders in front of you, the Josh Giddeys. Let me force these guys in front of you, not particularly on national television games, but let me just kind of create these little sub agendas with these guys to kind of make them those second tier stars that we're gonna like put out in front as well. Like, they're doing this on purpose, man. Like, if anybody can't see this, like, come on, man. Do not sit there and tell me that you really think that Tyrese Halliburton is a top 20 player in the NBA.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind, the Memphis Grizzlies Daily Show right here on Bluff City Media. There were some positive things happening over the weekend. One of those things was named GG Jackson. Luke, what are your thoughts on GG Jackson?
Man, I did unexpected. Like, I knew the kid was good, but like, he shot over 60% from the field 2 games in a row, over 50% from 3 2 days in a row, like 2 games in a row, excuse me. I didn't see this level of efficiency. I didn't see this level of fearlessness. He was a positive 23 last night. 23 points in like 29 minutes and like 6 boards, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Like what? The kid is. He's not just a hooper. He might be the real deal, man. Like, I know there was all the talk about him being a top 5 draft pick in this coming year's draft, and he just went early. Like, all signs point to yes so far. Like, good God.
I mean, look, just two NBA games,
2 games,
back-to-back 20-point scoring. No big deal.
Nope.
NBD, if you will.
Yes.
As the kids say. I don't know if the kids say that or not. But like you said, 64%, and the Knicks game from the field, the other game, 66%. That is an incredible efficiency. But what I like the most about Gigi Jackson is 6 rebounds and 6 rebounds.
Yep.
That is what I like the most. I think everybody knew he could score. I think that was not a question about Gigi Jackson. I mean, obviously, whether he could score at this level in the NBA is a real thing, right? I think that was a real question. But I think what people what I want to see from him, what I need to see from him to say, yes, he's that guy. Obviously, continuing to score is one thing. But the defense, right? That was and it's a little bit the opposite of like Vince Williams, right? The Vince Williams, we knew he could play defense and rebound. We were just unsure what kind of offense he could give us, right? And that was what you wanted to see from him. And from Gigi Jackson, it's quite the opposite. You know, he can kind of put the ball in the basket. That's something that you see all the time from him and has seen from him. But being able to score or being able to rebound and block shots, play defense, that's what you want to see from Gigi Jackson. And quite frankly, he's got the length to be able to guard it, to be able to guard those bigger threes, small fours. I mean, he's got length to do that. And so
I didn't realize he was that big. He's a big kid.
He's a big kid. And so I think that's kind of what's maybe exciting for me about him as a prospect is that ability. If he could somehow get that together, maybe if he went to the Vince Williams School of Defense for a little bit and learn some stuff from him, maybe from Marcus Smart. If he's somewhere to play like average to above average defense on people, that would be exciting for me.
Yeah, man, and the humility the kid showed too. Like I'd heard rumors and stuff about his off-court stuff. I like that kid just seems like a sweet kid. Like a kid that is genuinely happy to be in the position that he's in. And
yeah, the interview last night with Shaq was really good.
Yeah, I think he got a lot of fans from that last night. Like not just in Memphis. Like I was seeing on Twitter, like people, just NBA people that just follow the NBA. That saw that interview and saw him play and was like, this 19-year-old kid rose to the moment on national television against Dre, Clay, and Steph, and out hustled and outplayed him. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I mean, his shot looks good. His shot reminds me of a Bane shot. I mean, it is smooth.
Yes, it is.
He went 5 for 8 from 3 at 62% last night with, I think, 2 for 4 the night before that or against the Knicks. Just a smooth shot. I mean, a good looking shot too. It does not look, there's no hitches in it. So I mean, here's the thing though, and it's been 2 games. We said this about Jacob Gaillard whenever he was playing well. As soon as people start to look for him, right? And be like, okay, maybe we should do something or guard him a little bit. Maybe we should do something about it, right? He's not just a hustle player. Like he's a real player, right? Like you can maybe do some things. And when you start to see that, that's when I will kind of, okay, once that happens on game 6 and 7 of playing and people have some tape and have something to look at about what he can and can't do. That's when I think will be that's always the turning point. We saw with Jacob Gaillard and we talked about it on this show and it happened, right? NBA teams are smart. They know how to force you to do other things, right?
Yes.
And we did that with Jacob Gaillard. Like, okay, we'll just put bigger guards on him. Right? We'll put a big people. Like they forced the Grizzlies to not play him because they understood how to extract mismatches at his size level.
Yeah.
Important to understand is that's going to happen with Gigi Jackson. Right now, you see this all the time. Guys will come in on 10 days or random guys. It's like the Lance Stevenson effect. Comes in and just like they come in one day, they don't know the plays. They're like, I'm just going to shoot and ball out.
Just go score.
And not that I'm not again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything negative about GG Jackson. I'm saying things. This is what happens in the NBA. This is how it works. Period. And so what happens in game 5, 6, and 7 is, I think, more of a telling and more of an understanding about who he is as a player than games 1 and 2.
The league got so on to Gilliard. We had to start Z over him at the point last night. Like that's how much his height was getting exploited once people got the film on him. Like, would they do the same for Gigi? It's like, well, who knows? Hopefully not, but we'll see.
It will be interesting to see how he responds. We saw that with Vince Williams because he was able to continue to be efficient and consistent every single game out. And that's why he earned a contract because he did it over, a 20-game span. And so hopefully GG Jackson still gets the run. I think that he's earned that over the last few games. So he will continue just to get run. He played 29 minutes last night. He will continue to get the opportunity to prove that. And what he does with that will depend on what happens in the future. For the record, there is no reason to do anything for the Grizzlies. He's on a 2-way contract. He's not going to run out of active, being able to be active before the season ends, or he does, it'll be right as the season ends.
Yeah.
And
he's
so
19.
He's 19. He's on a 2-way contract that has a restricted free agency at the end of the contract. Like, if he goes into the summer and they don't do anything, he's in a restricted free agent for the Grizzlies, so they can match any offer that's even given to him.
Yeah.
There isn't any there. I know everybody wants to give him a contract. Let
it marinate. Let it marinate.
But there is no reason for the Grizzlies at all to do anything other than continue to play him like they are now and continue to evaluate him. They're not going to give him a contract right. They're not reactionary like this. Like we are. We all fans. We love to see it. We want him to earn what he gets. But we also want to be a cautionary tale of let's not let it be Kenny Lofton Jr. either. Right? Like there's that part of it. For every Vince Williams story, there's 5 Kenny Loftons. And so I think that's a big part of it, is that to understand that the Grizzlies have time. Like they have time to evaluate. He's not going anywhere. He's a restricted free agent. You're not going to lose him in any way. There's no team that can come steal him. He's under contract with the Grizzlies. So I think, as a word to the caution of all the Twitter fans out there, he's not going anywhere. There's no reason to give him a contract. It's not a race. See what you have in GG Jackson, and then you can make a decision, hopefully an educated decision, either closer to the end of the season or in the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah. It's people just need to slow their roll with this one. They did a good job in this. Like this one, his contract's designed to let it see. We have all the time, and we don't have all the time in the world. We've got till the end of the season and all off season to see what we want to do. Take it.
Well, I think the most important is, in the word you need to understand about the GG Jackson situation, is the Grizzlies have control.
Yes.
They have the control that they want. It's not like a Vince Williams. Vince Williams was a unrestricted free agent at the end of his contract at the end of this 2-way contract. So they really needed to do something in the season if they wanted to lock him up long term, because there is potential for someone to come and take him at the end of the year, and they for nothing, right?
Yeah.
It would have happened.
Would have happened.
And there's a good chance that if GG Jackson continues to play like he is, if he continues to play like this, they will convert that contract before the end of the season. They will not let him enter restricted free agent. They have to match something. They'll just convert it and be done.
Yep.
But if it's an up and down, it's like it's a feast or famine kind of thing. Then you just you kind of see what happens, right? Or you want to try to get him on another 2-way contract, which is what happened with Vince Williams. You get him on another one, and then at the end of that second 2-year contract, or at the end of the second 2-way contract is when they become a unrestricted free agent. That's when you have to understand and maybe do some things quicker than you would have done if he's a restricted free agent in the summer. Yes, I agree. That's all I have to say about Vince Jackson. I'm just as excited to watch this unfold as everybody else. I'm a huge fan. Yeah, I don't want everybody to take that as a negative thing. What I just said, that's me being realistic of like, here's what we have in front of us. But I'm just as excited as everybody else.
I mean, it might be one of the most exciting thing about the rest of the season, to see what happens, like just to see how his development plays out, is one of the things I'm most excited for.
Yeah. I'm not excited to see John Contra play, who, by the way, did not even get in the game.
DNP yesterday, man.
A game where you have 10 available players
10.
and he's the only one with a DNP CD was
pretty weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, Pretty weird.
In a game where you are kind of the veteran.
Pretty weird. I thought it was weird too. Pretty telling.
I don't know. Anthony said, "I was sure GG would take another 2A this summer." No, I don't think he will. There's a good chance that he won't, right? But the good thing about him not, if he doesn't take another 2A and someone gives him an offer, like if someone gives him an offer, you have opportunity to match the offer. And that's all that's the biggest thing that matters is even if he's unwilling to take another 2A contract, I would say this, if he's unwilling to take another 2A contract, it means that someone else is offering to make real contract.
Yeah.
If no one offers him real contract, he's probably willing to take another 2A. But if he's not willing, that means that someone has offered him something different, in which case the Grizzlies can match that offer. So you can go into the summer confident about your ability to retain GG Jackson if you want to, because whatever offer he's going to get, it's going to be reasonable anyway. It's not like something that's going to be. It's not like you're going into a restricted free agency with a superstar where you feel like you can't match it. That's the difference about GG Jackson and Vince Williams. That is the key difference of how they go into the summer right there. So
they'll have the cap to match it too. That's another thing. It's like with the restricted free agency, like it's like you said, it'll be a reasonable deal. They'll match it. It's not going to be superstar money.
But again, they're going to have access to the biannual exception this year. They're going to have access to the mid-level exception. They'll have lots of mechanisms. Yeah, they have lots of mechanisms to sign him, even if it's there over the cap. So,
yep,
yeah. But yes, Saints' point is roster construction or roster having people on the roster. I do think they will, again, like we talked about earlier in the show. I think the trades they make this trade down will probably be like back end trades.
Yeah.
And I think even if you wanted to keep GG Jackson, I think you can see a path where even waiving some guys makes sense to keep him if he continues to play like he is. I'm happy to see Jake LaRavia move on out of the way.
Get him out of here.
Yeah. All right, that's going to be it for us as a show today. I appreciate you guys tuning in as our first show back. We went a little long. We apologize. It's
a long weekend.
Jackson. It's a long weekend, lots to talk about. That's because of GG Jackson. That's his fault. So that one's on him for playing so well over the last two games. We'll be back tomorrow. Yes, we'll be back tomorrow with a brand new show, with a brand new episode right here on Bluff City Media, The Day of the Grind. We'll see you then.